Zimbabwe cash crisis worse. Talking about Venezuela once again.
Systemic important banks. They removed the one factor inclusion called monetary awareness. Hey there, hope all is well. Back at you today with some more RTD news updates. As you can tell from today's title, there's a buying spree of gold that hasn't been seen in over half a century. And so you know how the motto goes, don't watch what they say, but more so what they do. And it looks like central banks all around the world are getting their weight up. So the question I want to pose to you is, are you doing the same? So I got an article I just came across here that I want to just touch on briefly. More importantly, you can find it down below. Just want to take a quick minute to thumb through this information here because it's very interesting that once again, we're learning more about what's really happening out here in the world in reference to central banks getting physical metal in their possession at a time when things are starting to crumble at the seams. So it's no surprise whatsoever, but more importantly, I think we should all be taking note of what's going on and definitely getting our weight up as well. But before I dive any further, as always,
Recession will be a recession.
We're going to hit a recession.
The date of the next recession.
A U.S.-only recession typically lasts 8 to 10 months.
A crash is coming. Now, whether it's 6 months from now, 12 months, 36 months, no one knows.
If you have the right plan to set up, you can make a lot of money from this.
So as I mentioned today, I just have one article, but it's very important because it has to do with what actually is going on behind the scenes with central banks, that they're getting physical these days at a pace that hasn't been seen, as it says here, in over half a century. And so this is an article from Bloomberg here that came out about a week or so ago, but it's one of them things where it's never too late to find out what's going on because, of course, you won't really hear about this being broadcast on your major news sources. So it says central banks are on the biggest gold buying spree in half a century. And as always, I'll thumb through it, but more importantly, take time to read it for yourself. But to give you an idea what's going on here, it says central banks bought more bullion last year than any time since 1971. And so that right there leads me to question and wonder, what exactly do they see coming where there's such a push to get their hands on physical metal? It says governments added 65.15 tons of gold to their coffers in 2018, a 74% increase from the previous year. So once again, central banks deal with tonnage. What do you deal with? Grams, ounces, kilos? Definitely get your weight up. It says Russia, which is de-dollarizing its reserves, was the biggest buyer, followed by Turkey and Kazakhstan. Hungary also made a large purchase, citing gold's lack of counterparty risk and a role as a hedge against changes in the international finance system. So gold's lack of counterparty risk. Gold does not contain the same level of risk as other financial instruments, especially ones that are digital or paper-based, because gold and other precious metals are physical, tangible assets that you yourself can hold in your possession. And as we always say, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. And role as a hedge against changes in an international financial system. So once again, Hungary sees changes or possible changes in the international financial system, and so it's a hedge against such activity. Scroll down more, it says, quote, central banks chose to significantly increase their gold reserves, reinforcing the importance of gold as a reserve asset. Then here's a little chart here. It says gold's rebound. And so as of August of last year, it has spiked up tremendously, which should be very alarming to a lot of people. It says central banks are expected to acquire an additional 600 tons this year. According to the Consulting Metal Focus Ltd, says the buys, which will help the banks diversify their foreign exchange assets in a time of extraordinarily political volatility, signal a growing confidence in the metal's value moving forward. So once again, once we see that it's been mentioned that possibly 600 tons, lets me know that, of course, whenever you see a mainstream story as this, it's always a lot greater than what's actually being told here. So I anticipate it being well beyond 600 tons. And so just imagine how much gold that is in your possession, in these central banks' possession, as a hedge against counterparty risk in the financial system. It says the banks were not net buyers even a decade ago, saying Juan Carlos Ortegas, director of the World Gold Council, in a telephone interview. He's quoted as saying, as their foreign reserves expands, they are increasingly diversifying away from pure dollar exposure. As their foreign reserves expand, they are increasingly diversifying away from pure dollar exposure. Pure dollar exposure. Hence the name of this channel, Rethinking the Dollar. And if you scroll down some more, it gives you more information as to what's happening. But more importantly, I really want to shine some light on this just because of the subject matter of how important gold is. So 2019 is a year of solutions. And so the reason I've been behind on my videos is because I've been working on the RTD Gold team, where my goal is to actually help people get physical metals in their possession. And so once again, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So I want to encourage those that are interested and possibly considering joining the gold team. I would love to help you as well as help other people find out about the importance of holding gold. So as always, there's information down here below this video here. But more importantly, as always, if you don't hold it, you don't own it. So make sure you do what the central bankers do and they're getting their weight up. I encourage you to do the same. So other than that, just want to shine some light on what's happening in the gold world. Hope you're enjoying your day. Look forward to seeing you tonight from RTD Live Talk. Peace.